Jesus Christ, the engine! Oh my god, this is like... Why is the engine always exploding on me? Am I really pushing it that hard? Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to another episode of Motorsport Manager with me, Spacefish. And welcome to, well, what is going to be in a second now, one of the last Grand Prix this very season. I think like the fourth last, basically, we're going to Guildford this time around. And I think, if I recall the last episode correctly, that is indeed going to happen today. So we've prepared the car in the last episode, of course, done a lot of work to actually improve on the critical things. If we have a quick look here for part fitting, we also have a new driver now with Hong Liao, a very fresh talent, still just 17 years old, but already nearly at the skill level of my old drivers, and as you can see, also with a lot more potential. So I'm hoping for a lot of improvement there in the very future, and that we are, well, going to get a lot of a return on this investment, because he did actually cost us a good bunch of money to actually get into the team too. And well, looking back at the cars real quick, as I said, just fitting parts, you know. I think we've got pretty much something of everything now. We've got a good engine, good in terms of like first season levels, good. Got a somewhat decent engine, got somewhat decent brakes, got a gearbox now for the car, got suspension, and of course front and rear wing are locked in the European Championship Series, so there's no aero development on the car. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the race. Let's see how we are going to be doing with it in terms of like overall spot on the grid. I'm not sure where I was able to see that, but you can see that we have certainly closed up a bit. And well, let's hope we are going to be doing somewhat good for Guildford. Top speed, of course, not being a bad thing for us, because we have already developed a rather decent engine a while ago, and well, medium speed corners just recently got that going. So let's see how this thing is going to perform. I'm going to stick with the lowest sponsorship objective here, honestly, because like, well, I mean, we had a pretty good result in the Ardennes, and we nearly won the darn thing before everything went south and the motor nearly exploded on us, but I'm honestly not too sure we're going to be able to carry that momentum through all the way. I would really like to go for the safer option, and safe really not being that safe a thing either, given that, well, Munich and Tundell didn't go all too well. So if we can get this going, at least we can kind of lower our losses by a bunch. You know, that if we were to manage to do this would be 996k, which honestly I think we really actually need to manage this for ideally all 4 coming races, because we've got 4.3 million left and we've got 4 races coming up. So if, well, maybe not all of them, but if I don't manage it for at least 3, or I manage a better sponsorship objective for a few later races, then we're going to be a bit tight in terms of budget. I'm not sure, do we have any sponsors? We do have a sponsor coming up, so maybe, well, fingers crossed that we are going to be good in that regard. But let's go to the race. Sponsor is still selected, part fitting is going to stay the same, and let's hope that we're going to be doing somewhat good. It's well, it's kind of a bit of a situation now, I think, in which we are actually going to reveal the true performance of our car and our drivers. I'm interested to see how our new driver is going to be doing, most certainly. I'm more interested even to see how our new main car is going to be doing with all these mods done to it, because I think this is about the state of development that we will get for this season. I don't think we will get much of any further. Of course, we will be working on tinkering parts, you know, getting the reliability maxed out, hopefully, which will be a great thing, because, you know, we had a few reliability issues in the past. And, you know, just getting the rest out of the potential performance. I'm not sure if we have any remaining potential performance for the main car, but there's certainly a lot in the secondary car. So, you know, we've got a few places where we can make improvements, but not many more remaining. But yeah, so let's see. I'm hoping it's going to be fine. Now it's raining in true British fashion, so we are going to have to go out on inters, I suppose. And, well, that's going to be the choice tyre of the day, and hopefully it's going to be something that we need in the race, because else that is going to be utterly useless that we do end up getting some knowledge onto that. Now, I'm not going to make the wing angle, well, actually, could be useful, because it seems there's a lot of fast corners, so I'm going to make the wing angle like +1 degree for the time being. We'll see how they like that, and I don't know, oversteery, understeery, I'm really not sure. We're going to make it a bit stiffer, we're going to make it a bit understeery for the time being. We're also going to make the suspension a good bit longer, because of course top speed is going to be important here with the long fast curves and a good bunch of straights. I suppose that is pretty important. And well, inters. Confirming that, and we're going to do about the same for the other car for a start. So, the interesting thing here being that Hong Liao actually, oh wow, actually maybe we're going to be doing 16.5. But he's got even better feedback stats than my other drivers so far. So well, I'm really hopeful that I'm going to be gaining a lot of knowledge from him, both in terms of setup, but also, of course, your active knowledge in terms of like tyres and race trim. He's going to be getting the Inter tyres as well, because I don't think there's really much of anything else we can do. If it gets even more wet, to be honest, maybe we all need the wet tyres eventually, but I think for this level of wetness, Inter should still be good. So fingers crossed that that's going to be the case. We're going to send them out like that, and let's see what they think of it. Definitely going to take the practice, because that's of course a very important thing to get the setup going. Now, other than that, this should all be pretty much set, so we're just going to send them out like that, and then we're going to get time playing, and we're going to just max out the strategies again, just to kind of ensure that they go and get some nice and fast laps in before, you know, the practice session is over. But with that said, during the out lap, definitely going to get, well, I mean during all the lap, pretty much going to have this sped up, but during the out lap, well, not really much of a reason not to have it set up. Okay, Aero's feeling great for both of them, which is interesting, because he's got a bit more wing than the other lad, but that's fine, that's great. I'm really surprised that Gomez is overall able to keep up with Hong Liao, because like that car is so much better than the other one. So, kind of surprised, but we'll see about times and everything when they get to the very end of this straight. So, yeah, well, that's honestly not quite as impressive of a difference than I would have hoped for here. Only a 10th of a second is really not that much of separation, so kind of starting to get a bit more pessimistic in terms of like actual car performance. But then again, I mean, the engines are not too far apart, right? It's mostly the suspension that I think is a good bit apart. So, potentially, you know, it's just that the engines are somewhat close together. Also, maybe, you know, they had a bad lap or whatever. We can't judge it after one lap, I suppose. We're gonna get them in. Everybody's already improved, like, topping our times by a lot, so, yeah. Let's see about that. It seems like it's starting to dry up, though, so maybe an opportunity here to actually get them out on soft tyres in a minute, then, to actually get like a bit of a soft tyre or a super soft tyre trim. Let's check this out for the time being, though, because he was not all too happy with everything we did for him, so maybe that's actually a bit of the reason there. Downforce seems to be very good. Handling is apparently not understeery enough yet, so we're gonna fix that a bit. I mean, I don't want to overdo suspension stiffness. Maybe we just want to do something like this. We can also thus find out a bit more about speed balance, just to kind of see here if that is even better or a bit worse, and then we can kind of perfect that. Hopefully downforces we're just going to keep where it's at. And then let's do super softs. I'm actually not quite sure about how long do the tyres for the other lad last. 6 to 8 laps is so little. 6 to 8 laps is crazy low. I mean, maybe we're going to do softer actually, and just do like 2 soft stints or something in the other race. I think that's going to be the idea. Is it? Let me see how Gomez is doing here. Can I interrupt the sending out part of things? Oh yeah, he's doing better. just confusing. Is our other car just worse for tyre wear for some reason? Because we had that when the other lady was driving that car, didn't we? Or does he have like some tyre use bonus? I'm really confused. He doesn't. Why is this car better in terms of tyre use, though? This is actually a bad thing, because, like, we need to have the car with a better tyre use, with a better components, of course. This is a huge issue now. I mean, we're going to go out on softs with him too, then, just to, like, kind of ensure that we get the same knowledge. Other than that, he seems to be pretty happy. Like, the handling was not quite spot on just yet, so I'm going to make it a bit harder. I hope that's kind of the way to go, and then we're going to leave the rest of the things as they are. But, like, this handling... No, not this handling, but this tyre use thing is kind of really worrying me right now, so I'm hoping... I don't know. Well, I'm hoping we'll kind of make it through the race with the softs then, but we need to reiterate that when we get out of the race, because that is going to be a big issue for us. Now, they're probably... No, I think they're probably going to be doing rather good for times here as the track is drying up. It's also probably going to be washed out a bit, given that Liao is behind Gomez. He's probably going to have a bigger improvement because the track is just drying up faster. Maybe they're not even improving their times, which is interesting. Okay, yeah, Hung Liao... Oh no, yeah, now that the track's drying up, they're really improving their times, so... It's unfortunately also making it a bit hard to compare, because now we're, of course, on first spot, but we're like the first people who have set a time on softs, so, you know, that's part of the issue there, probably. I'm going to bring both of them in once more, just to actually double-check that everything's fine in terms of setup, and then we're going to try our best and get enough knowledge on the soft tyres going ahead of time, but... I feel we may be a bit short on time here, so let's see how that is going to be going. Okay, he is super happy. That is great. Am I even going to give him fresh tyres? No, honestly, I think we're just going to refuel him, and that's it. Because the faster we can get him back out on the track, the more knowledge we're going to gain for the tyres, and the higher the likelihood we do at least get something right there going. He is also somewhat happy. Speed balance actually went down, which is a bit of an issue. Actually maybe not that much of an issue, because honestly that tells us he wants a bit more acceleration, which we can easily provide, and that should hopefully perfect it for us, so that's nice. We're probably going to give him... Am I going to give him new tyres? Am I going to give him the same tyres? I mean, given that he's... I think they're probably still good for the remaining time of the stint, so we're going to go and send him out too. You're going to go to Max, you're going to go to Max, and please just drive. Please just drive as much as you can. I think we're going to actually get one final lap out of this, which should allow us to hopefully get some more knowledge. Everybody's staying out on inters, which may be an advantage for us for the race, because nobody's going to have the knowledge on the soft tyres. So, if it is not going to be raining in the race, advantage for us. If it is going to be raining in the race, we're going to be at a huge disadvantage. Level 3 race trim. Wow. So yeah, there you can see a big advantage of actually having Hong Liao with all that fancy feedback. We actually managed to get the soft tyres to level 2 here in a second too? So yeah, like you can see, just like the feedback is a good advantage, because that's going to be another few percent now he's going to be faster in the race, which is going to be nice indeed. So I very much like that. That's going to be very great for us, but... Well, not too impressed in terms of times, to be honest. I mean, it's starting to rain again, so, you know, that's fine, I suppose. The only real... Oh, he actually made it across the line again, which is interesting. But yeah, I think, like, the only main concern here being for the race, that it's going to be raining during the race, and we don't have the intermediate tyre knowledge while everyone else has. That would probably be bad. If it's going to be dry, we're going to be at an advantage. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble here. Let's see how it goes. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I mean, given that it's England, it's probably going to be raining, so yeah, let's hope the best. let's hope for the best right here. Let's hope that it's just not going to be raining. It's sunny for the time being. I'm not sure if that's going to stay like that for the entire race, because of course I don't have like any good forecasting abilities just yet. So let's see about that. For the time being, it's sunny. It's going to be a bit cloudy afterwards, so we do have a knowledge advantage for the time being. Now, I'm kind of wondering here, right? 50% faster tyre changes are really kind of nice. No, I think we're gonna honestly just go for the soft tyres. But yeah, as you can see, that's what I'm talking about, right? When we also just go for like soft tyres or super softs or whatever it's gonna be for an entire stint, this is gonna increase the 15% performance increase as well, with all the feedback that we're getting from the tyres. So even just that gives us another 10% of a performance increase. So that's actually quite the big advantage, I hope. So yeah, very much do like that we are getting that much more feedback from Hong, and hopefully it's just gonna stay dry. It just has to stay dry for us. I think we're gonna change the setup here. We're gonna go for well, we're gonna keep this, of course, but we're gonna go for softs. We've got 23 laps, so we can honestly probably do a 2-stop on Gomez. I think it has to be a 3-stop on Hong. I mean, 12 to 14 laps, you know, realistically, if we can stretch it out to 11 on one stint and then 12 on another stint, we can get Gomez in there with 1 stop. Which actually we probably can't because he's low on fuel. So that's always an issue. I'm not sure we can stretch the fuel enough to get another 2 laps out of it. The likelihood is probably rather low, so we're just going to push the heck out of his tyres instead, I suppose, and maybe just throw, I don't know, maybe just throw another super soft stint in it at the very end then for him. So we're going to kind of find out about that during the race. Hong Liao with very nice, made that excellent. Didn't make the handle, what? Was that not... Seriously? Seriously? Why? Come on! The tad bit. The minute difference in over and understeer, and it's already like... Jesus Christ, okay. I'm gonna have to try and balance this a bit more. Okay, that should be good now, I hope. Maybe even excellent on the handling, so fingers crossed right there. So I mean, he's got 10 to 12 laps on these tyres, so I estimate that he's probably realistically going to be making 8 laps on a set of softs. So we're going to be going in like 8 and then 16, basically, and we're going to, well, we're just going to push. We're just going to push with him, basically. So that's the plan here. I think only soft tyres for Hong, and then probably 2 softs and 1 super soft for Andre. So let's see about that. We're going to definitely start an attack and overtake. I mean, that's like a must at this point. And let's start the race. Fingers crossed for a good start. I mean, we are in first spot because Hong, well, was at the very back of the Drivers' Championship, apparently. I'm not sure if you carry those over when you come from another team in Motorsport Manager or not, so I don't know, but I mean, that's honestly pretty good for us. So we're going to check him out, and the lights are going to go out, and off we go, and that was a bad start for him, so that's not great. Already overtaken into second place. Okay. Let's very tightly watch the first lap here. I mean, we do, of course, have a bit of a tyre disadvantage here on him. Then again, I mean, we've got some good knowledge on the soft, so it shouldn't be that bad. We've got the level 3 race trim, so I'm hoping that is going to give us enough. Jesus Christ! Holy moly, as Mello just kind of torpedoes the inside of him there, Kvyat style. Wow. Yeah, so we're in third spot at the moment. We seem to be holding on for dear life for the time being, but I'm not too positive at the moment here, as there is a few lads actually overtaking him, quite a few, and he is not all too fast. So I'm not liking that too much at the moment. We do probably need to back off the tyre strategy here a bit for both, because I don't want to be melting these tyres to the ground. Kind of interesting to see that we're actually pretty close in terms of tyre condition between Liao and Gomez. Well, I'm sure that's going to widen a bit more over the course of the race. But, well, we're going to leave the cars in overtake for another, well, his car. We're going to get him back to high because he needs to last for a while longer. But yeah, so end of the 8th lap is kind of the goal for Liao, I think, and then well, like 9th lap for Gomez maybe. He's definitely going to be able to last longer, so he's going to be coming in after. We are, for the time being, holding on to the 4th spot pretty well, but you know, all these people coming up from the back are kind of high up in the Drivers' Championship, so I'm not really estimating this is going to stay that way forever. Now, we are in the 4th lap, which means we will need to complete another 5 till we actually get into the box. We're at 5.89 laps, so that's not too bad. We're just going to take the engine down to high as well here, just to actually manage that properly. And we should probably get the tyres here to neutral, because they're pretty close to overheating. I don't want to actually have a performance drop-off because the tyres just melt, or well, just like a drop-off in terms of tyre condition either. And you can see, I mean, Honga's just kind of, he's on softs, but he's using them nearly as much as everybody else on super soft, so it's kind of crazy, I'll have to say. But let's see. It seems now that we got him back down to neutral, he's a bit better off, but now the kind of high-ups in the Drivers' Championship seem to be approaching him, as I'm pretty sure he's going to drop down to 5th spot again in a minute. Andre absolutely getting wrecked back there, so that's never too great to see. But I think Hong is going to be our focus at the moment. Which, that said, we seem to be holding up like the entire field at this point, which is really not too great news. And there's a good bunch of people actually with softs around us when we get overtaken like no tomorrow. Jesus Christ, this is bad at the moment. I really don't like it. I really just want 14th or above, well, no, 13th or above, so, you know, I hope we can at least carry that through the race, because, you know, if not, that's going to be very bad for our budget. Now, we are in lap 6, so we've got another 3 laps to go. We've got another 3.7 laps of fuel, so we can probably actually afford to push out another bit of fuel, while for Andre, we actually need another 4 laps of fuel, so we probably need to actually conserve some of that fuel. So that's the plan. Hopefully that overtake mode is going to help Hong a bit in terms of actually holding onto his spot, but, well, as I said, all the people from the top of the Drivers' Championship are kind of approaching him currently, so that's not too great. Then again, there is a few people up ahead that have really burnt their tyres, because they are, of course, running the super stuff, so maybe that is going to help us out a bit. I'm not too sure about that at the moment, but we'll see as time goes. Now, we've got another 2 laps to go, and honestly, the tyres are still looking quite good, so I'm going to up his strategy there in terms of actually tyre wear, and then once we get into the 8th lap, we're just going to push everything out of these tyres that we still have. Also need to kind of watch out for my fuel usage, because that is probably getting quite close. So we're going to do that. And actually, watch out, we're going to get Gomez to push again as well, but honestly, it's not going to matter that much. He's in 19th spot. Oh, God. But yeah, you can see the difference between the cars now, I think, you know. It's kind of starting to become more apparent, and you can see here, 1.12 laps of fuel. We're pretty much on the brink here. We're going to get the tyres to attack. We're going to keep the engine in the current mode for, like, another quick minute, but we do have to very soon probably tune that down to actually make sure that we're going to be good. We're going to be filling up the engine. Oh, God. We're not going to be filling up the tank totally, because as you can see, the engine's not doing too well, so we should probably actually tune it down a bit. We're going to have to get it to a risky strategy, because, well, we need every second at this point, and the 3 seconds of a difference is actually quite major. Weather is looking good at the moment, so that is at least some good news right there, I hope. But yeah, that engine is looking pretty bad, so really not too happy about that. Gomez currently in the 16th spot, but that's only because a few people actually had a stop, and well, same thing for Liao, so, you know. Let's see where we will end up after our stop with him. Now, he's making it into the pit stop just on the last sliver of fuel, while Gomez is going to head on for another lap, and we're actually going to put him to attack on his tyres too. So, fingers crossed everything's going to be going well for Hong Liao here as we quickly refuel. We're up to 9 laps of fuel again, so that is indeed very good, and we're going to get him to push here for a quick minute before we actually go back to conserve some fuel and actually conserve our engine status. Now, Gomez, your turn, my friend. We are at the end of the 9th lap. So, how long do these supposedly last? About 4 laps less. Yeah, I think we're going to do another stint on softs, and then we're going to do a final stint on super softs on him. So, how is the part condition looking here? It's a lot better, so we're going to actually fill him up, and we're going to have the engine push a bit more. And we're just going to go to a balanced strategy for him, you know. Not exhaust the mechanics too much, and, you know, not risk too much either. Hong now pushing on while he's got the space ahead of him, which is going to be nice. We're just going to keep pushing until we're finally somewhat here-ish, and we can find out where we are in terms of spot after the pit stops. So let's see. Still within the sponsor objective, 9th spot at the moment, and it seems there's a few people ahead of him still in for a stop, so that's certainly very interesting. Gomez right here is still an absolutely terrible spot. We're going to get him to overtake. We're going to get the tyre strategy back down to neutral for Hong to not burn the tyres too much, and we're going to get the engine up to, well, down to high rather, and just kind of see how that does for him. Now, let's go kind of, seriously, now the engine condition falls off as well. Great. We're gonna end that overtake mode in a minute and just keep him on high. And, well, Hong, we're gonna have to tune back down to neutral eventually, I feel. Gonna try and maybe get him to a slightly under-fueled point, though. We got him in the 8th lap, right? So we want to get him in the 16th lap again, I feel. So that means that is gonna be another, what, like 6 laps, right? I need to actually complete the 16th lap. So, yeah, so this is the 11th. So that's going to be another 6 laps. He's at 6.53 laps of fuel for the time being. So, you know, Jesus Christ, the engine. Oh my God, this is like, why is the engine always exploding on me? Am I really pushing it that hard? I mean, the thing is, I need to get some of that fuel out of the system so I can, like, I need to underfuel the cars at this point, I think. I need to actually underfuel the cars in the next pit stop to somehow manage to get these cars to the very end. I feel we're going to go overtake for, like, another quick minute here on Hong, and then we're just going to go, like, instant neutral, because I cannot afford anything else. We've still got reliability problems with these cars. It's absolutely mad. Well, I mean, yeah, of course, we're pushing them a lot, you know, I'll have to acknowledge that. We are really pushing the cars a lot more than we probably should, but, I don't really have any choice at the moment, I don't feel. So yeah, we're going to get him down to medium now. I cannot afford to actually, break the engine. He's going to go to high and, neutral on the tyres too, and, well, on we go, and hopefully it's going to be fine. We're going to 12x this a bit. Oh no. 24%, please. This is not going to make it to the end of the race. I think we're going to have to repair this. It feels like we will have to repair this, to be honest. Like, I don't think there's another option. We're losing power on the engine, which is never too great. And we are just, like, 3 spots ahead of our sponsorship objective. So, like, this is going to be painful. This is going to be painful. So, we're sort of in a good spot for fuel, for tyre usage, but the engine is absolutely giving up on us. It's going to be a curious one. I'm really kind of worried that we're not going to make it to the very end. Well, I think we are going to make it to the very end, but we're not probably going to make it to the very end in the spot that we want to be in, probably. We will have to go in for repairs in the next boxing, on the next pit stop, so we're going to do that, but, well, we're already well over the time for this episode, unfortunately, so we'll have to end it off here for today, but we'll certainly continue off from here in the next one, and then, hopefully we somewhat make it miraculously in the spot that we need for our sponsorship objective. So fingers crossed right there. Let's see about that. I'm ending it off here for today. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider subscribing right down below, as well as hitting that bell icon right next to it to stay up to date on any future upcoming episodes. With that all said, thanks a lot for watching, as everyone, as always, rather keep crossing your fingers that we will stay within the sponsorship objective, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.